Hey everyone. Just if you're watching the replay, feel free to skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to give people a few minutes to show up and join. If Hey, if you're finding me here, if you are wherever you're joining from, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, feel free to drop me a comment and say hello. Hi there. Thank you for joining me. We'll get started in just a minute. I'd love to know where you're joining me from. I can only tell if you're with me through the comments, so definitely please drop me a comment and say hi. And we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Hope that you're all doing well tonight, and I know that everybody is patiently awaiting the results of the election, and there's also a lot of protests going on. There's some celebrations going on, and so I just wanted to make a little bit of space to talk about sort of the neurology behind fight, flight, and freeze, because I think it's really important to understand these mechanisms as they relate to social media and as they relate to conflict. So we'll do a little bit of tapping. I'm also just going to talk a little bit about the brain and how fight, flight, and freeze work. So yeah, if you're just joining, please drop me a comment, say hello so I know that you're with me, whether you're on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. I would love to say hello. So I'll give people, one more minute or so to join, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I hope that you're doing really well. It's been a crazy, tense week, and it's a lot for our nervous systems to handle so much tension. It can bring up a lot of just a lot of old patterns in our body and in our mind, and then on top of it, seeing conflict in the news cycle and on social media can really it can be triggering, or it can just bring up old stuff that's playing out in a new way. There's this quote, and it's sort of about society, but I also think that it applies to our bodies and the way that we function. And it's history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And that's true, I think, socially, but I also think that it's true in our bodies. There's sort of an echo of our past experiences that can come up, of our past traumas that can be echoed into current situations that that we may or may not be aware of that pattern being ignited, or aware of the event that initially sort of laid the foundation for how we're reacting in a moment. And on social media, people can get really aggressive and not have as much of a filter, and it's easy to feel really intense and triggered and go into fight or flight. So just to talk about flight or flight for a second, we developed over hundreds and thousands of years as humans with this response so that we could stay safe, right? There's wild animals and tigers and other things that would be trying to kill us, and our ability to be aware of our surroundings, to have adrenaline kick into our system, could mean the difference between life and death. But fast forward into where we are now, fight, flight, and freeze are not as useful biological mechanisms. I mean, don't get me wrong, they can have their place. But the reason they're not as useful is because our brains don't do a very good job at determining whether something is happening inside of our body or outside of our body. So the neurologically, your brain can have the exact same experience of going into fight or flight just from you thinking about a traumatic situation or seeing a conflict happen on the news or on Facebook or on social media. Your body will react as if it's a threat and go through its normal patterns. And that's part of why social media can cause so much tension for people, and then they get reactive or they freeze. It's like fight, flight, or freeze. People will fight back by blasting the comment sections of people they disagree with, or get really angry. They'll flight, they'll run away, they'll check out, they'll delete social media off of their phone, say I'm not doing this anymore. Which don't get me wrong, I totally respect that decision, but it's important to understand where it's coming from. And then freeze, which is maybe just like put it down, I don't want anything to do with it. But the reason I'm talking about this is because in a time where there's so much tension, it's really important to be able to soothe our bodies and to let our bodies know that we're okay, that the things that are coming up are actually not physical threats to our safety, even if our bodies may be responding in that way. So, so just understand that neurologically, a threat outside of your body and a threat inside of your mind cause the same neurological reaction. And so first I want to talk about a biotrigger that you can use just on your own at any point in time. And then we'll do a little mini tap on allowing our brains to exit fight or flight and go into the calming response in our bodies. So the biotrigger I want to talk about tonight is really, really simple, and it may seem overly simplistic, but it's just to relax your tongue on the bottom of your mouth. I can't emphasize enough how pivotal this can be if you can realize it. Because when we're angry, when we're stressed, when we're afraid, I don't know if you've ever noticed where your tongue is, but I would say 90% of the time it's pressed to the roof of your mouth or against your teeth. If your jaw is clenched, you're not relaxing your tongue in the bottom of your mouth. So you can relax your tongue in the bottom of your mouth anytime that you start to feel attacked, afraid, like you want to fight back, any of that. Just not to prevent you from doing what you need to do to take care of yourself or respond the way that you need to respond, but just to give yourself a little bit of space, so that you can make a decision using all the parts of your brain and not just the ones that are trying to fight back, run away, or freeze. So with that in mind, we can go ahead and start that way and start with the tongue relaxed on the bottom of your mouth. And if you're just joining, or if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for continuing to be with me on this election week series of how to calm your neurology during times of stress and tension, so that you can have better reactions and create better relationships in the world, even when things are really difficult. So understanding fight or flight is so pivotal to this because it happens all the time to all of us. Even those of us that are really practiced at this stuff, I still have this stuff come up, and I use the bio triggers, and I use the tapping, and I use all of the tools to bring myself down, because I'm just a person too that happens to have studied this stuff so that I could regain control over my nervous system. So you can go ahead and just really lightly start tapping right underneath your collarbones, right in the little corner before they meet your sternum there. And relax your tongue on the bottom of your mouth. And just go ahead and take a deep breath in. And with your tongue relaxed, just exhale all the air out of your lungs. And when you get to the bottom of your exhale, see if you can blow a little more air out. Some of that stale air that might not have gotten fully out of your lungs during your regular breath cycle. And so this collarbone point and a breath and your tongue relaxed on the bottom of your mouth, that's also enough to stop fight or flight. You don't have to go through a whole tapping sequence or understand all the nuances of the ways that a practitioner might work with the mind to use the basic set of tools to just stop your body from being in this activated state. So a deep breath. And go ahead and tap the outside of your hand. And repeat after me. Even though I want to freak out right now, I'm open to accepting myself and the way that I feel. And tap the eyebrows. Part of me is freaking out right now. That's totally understandable. Deep breath in. And tap the outside of the eyes. I'm willing to understand what part of my brain is active right now. And then just check in with yourself. Are your thoughts racing? Are you in fight or flight? Are you anxious? Are you stressed? Or are the calm parts of your mind engaged? Just notice. No judgment. And tap under the eyes. And if you're feeling like you want to freak out, just say, I feel like I want to freak out. Deep breath. And I'm so grateful that my body is here to protect me. And tap under the nose. It's safe for me to feel this freak out. And tap under the lips. I feel it in and then just see if you can notice. Where is your stress? Where is your freak out? Where is your tension? Notice what part of your body it's in. Notice what quality it has. Is it tight, heavy, racing, effervescent, dull or sharp? Never judging the sensation, just becoming aware of it. And tap the collarbone points. I feel the sensation in my body. The sensation of fight or flight. And I deeply and completely accept myself. Deep breath. I understand that my body is programmed to react this way. So that it's safe. Deep breath and tap the front of the ribs. And exhale all the air out of your lungs. So even though there's all this conflict on social media, all this conflict in the news, I'm letting my body know that I am safe right now. In this moment. Deep breath. And if that's too much, you can say, I'm open to the possibility that my body is safe right now in this moment. Go ahead and tap under the arms. You can also cross or just do one hand at a time. I'm willing to give myself some forgiveness for being reactive to people's conflict. And just see if you can send a feeling of forgiveness through your body, a physical sensation. Untap the wrist. It's completely understandable that I would be feeling triggered right now. And tap the thumb. But today I'm deciding that it's safe for my body to be calm. And go ahead and tap the first finger. Calmness feels like, and then I want you to insert something personal here. Maybe calmness feels like kittens. Maybe calmness feels like snuggles. Maybe it feels like rest or the ocean. Or maybe it feels like a color. It might feel like the color blue or the color purple or yellow. It can be anything at all that's personal to you, so that you can send that sensation of calmness through your body. And relax your tongue on the bottom of your mouth. Take a deep breath. And tap the middle finger. I'm forgiving myself in advance for any time I get triggered into fight or flight. And tap the ring finger on the outside there. I'm forgiving myself in advance for any time I freeze. And tap the pinky, just right on the top corner there. And I'm open to the possibility of recognizing when my brain is activated in this way. And then relaxing my tongue on the bottom of my mouth so that I can react in a way that feels good. Deep breath. And tap the outside of the hand. I deeply and completely accept myself. With all of these wondrous biological protection systems. And I'm open to the possibility that someday I could react to tension and conflict by getting calm. Deep breath. And go ahead and tap the top of your head. I'm allowing myself to be calm now. Even though part of me is really activated, it's safe for me to be calm too. And tap the eyebrow. You can use both fingers here if you want, or just one hand. Just really lightly tapping right on your brow bone, this inside corner of it. I am so grateful for my fight or flight response. Because it kept my ancestors alive long enough to get me here. And tap the outside of the eye. And at the same time, I'm open to recognizing when that response is appropriate. And when it might be too much. And tap under the eyes. My brain has a hard time telling the difference between an external threat and an internal threat. And tap under the nose. That's why I'm allowing myself some grace and some calm. And tap under the lips. So I might be able to recognize when I am actually in danger. Deep breath. And tap the collarbone. I'm willing to respond to conflict with compassion. And try and send a wave of compassion through your body. I'm open to trusting my body. I'm open to feeling gratitude for all of the biological mechanisms that have gotten me here. And pat yourself all over. And try and send a wave of gratitude through your body. Relax your tongue on the bottom of your mouth. And take a big, deep breath. And go ahead and release. So, thank you guys so much for joining me. This series of short tapping videos, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This method can go really, really far, especially when it's personalized and you're working with your own memories on a deeper level. So if you're interested in booking a session with me, please reach out. I'd love to connect with you, and if you want, we can book a call, like a 15-minute connection call, to see if we might be a good fit to work together. And if you are a creative or an artist or a maker or an entertainer of any kind, keep your eyes peeled on my page. I'm getting ready to launch a challenge for all of the creative people I know that are working on putting a compelling visual brand together so that they can creatively represent themselves on the internet in a way that feels good. And we're also going to be covering a lot of neurological and EFT type of work so that you can optimize your workflows. You can learn how to edit photos, how to take photos if you need that information, how to edit video, all sorts of stuff coming. So definitely please say hello or join my group, Peak Performance Branding for Creatives. And yeah, it's just been so great to spend this week with you all doing these EFT sessions. I will be back on some more lives soon, but in the meantime, I hope that you make use of these videos. They'll be up on my page anytime you want to use them. And yeah, much love. Stay safe out there. Stay well. Stay centered so that we can all help each other and help build this new and better world that we're all working so hard for. All right. Much love, y'all.